Hello, and thank you for clicking on the video. Today's walk-in is Linda from the Business Plugs Mixer. Hi, Linda.
Hey, how
How
are
are
you
you
this morning?
today?
I'm good. I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you for
Mhm.
having me on.
Mm. And for the viewers, you probably already used to it that we get right into a topic. So, Linda, tell us about your podcast, the Business Plugs Mixer.
Absolutely. So I have a mentor back in 2017, 17, 17, 18. And he said, you all need to get on a podcast. If you haven't started one, you need to start one. And I was like, okay, I don't have any idea what this is. And so he was the one actually who named me the business plug. And he said, you really need to get on. So we all applied at LinkedIn to get on. And
Mhm.
LinkedIn said, nope. But one
Oh,
of my posts went viral, and then they changed their mind and said, if we gave you the access, what would you do with it? And I told them I would promote business. Is what I do. I'm a business
mhm.
strategist. And so they gave me the access, and I got StreamYard, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, that's interesting. So LinkedIn, you can't just do it by yourself. Like YouTube, you can just do it over there. You have to get permission to go live.
Absolutely, you have to apply.
Oh,
Yeah, you have to apply and tell them why you're going to do it. And now this is 2018, so I don't
mhm.
know what the process is now, but I've had the access since then, and then it was in beta format. So I think they were just trying to find content generators to be on,
Mm-hmm.
but
I
they were
see.
streamlining them. So
Mhm. So what goes on in a podcast? So is businesses coming on and you promoting them, or you have topics?
each session is different, and sometimes they look a little repetitive, but I try to get in. I dive deep in specific subjects. Like if it's tax time, then my financial people come on and they give us different aspects of taxes, right? So I have people from out of the country who's helping people live abroad do United States taxes. So it just depends on who it is, the time of season, and what they have to offer. But I try my best to have very interesting people and very interesting business conversations on my podcast.
Mm-hmm. What is your own business background?
So my business background is I worked in corporate for 26 years, and with the implementation of Obamacare, I lost my 26-year position. I decided to repurpose those things I learned in corporate when I found out that small businesses have no clue about the business. They know exactly what widget they want to put in the world, but they don't have a clue about business. And so, because
Mm-hmm.
business is, I have 3 degrees in business. I am a project manager and all these, accolades from where I've worked to learn business. I decided to use my platform to support small businesses. And that's what I do is I help businesses build strategies. They call me the business plug.
Mm-hmm. So what is the business strategy? Like we have it a lot, like and even like you're saying, small people like people go in not small people for the viewers. Small businesses, when people start small businesses, they don't know about the aspects of business, they have an idea. So what is a business strategy?
So business has a lot of moving pieces, right? And
Mm-hmm.
most times when people want to start a business, it's based on something they did in their own career. But what
Mm-hmm.
they don't realize is when you're the entrepreneur, the solo entrepreneur, you are the chief, you are the cook, you are the magic maker, you're everything, you're all the
Accountant.
things.
Most
Exactly.
compared to the accountant and all those like
Everything.
documents and all things.
Yeah.
Banker.
Yeah, you're everything. And so, because they only have exposure to that one aspect of that position, they don't really understand the marketing piece or the strategy. I mean, the marketing piece or the sales piece or how to get the great distribution channels or how to keep their finances in order or how to do customer service. And so, I do a 360 business assessment to see where they are
Mhm.
and teach them about strategy, things that they need to know in order to do business successfully. They all know how to do the widget. Whatever they're selling, they already got that down. But it's
Mhm.
those things that are behind the scene, the back office of business that I teach.
Mhm. And one big part of it is like you were saying taxes.
Yes,
Like
that's a
business
big
taxes
part.
is so important to understand and get them right from beginning.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Because if you get it right from the beginning, you're going to be smooth selling. And when you think about it, the money is the lifeblood of your business. So if you don't understand how to manage that well, then you hear about 50 to 30 to 50 businesses close in the first 3 years. You hear about people that those that do make it, 80%
Mm-hmm.
of those that made it through the three don't make it to the 10. So you want to be
Mm-hmm.
one of those businesses that understand business well. So that way you understand how you, as the head chief, everybody can
Mm-hmm.
manipulate and make sure that those things work out for you.
Mm-hmm. What happens a lot of time, why they fail in the first year, because they don't even plan that they have to pay taxes at the end.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
like, and I don't think the way I see this, well, I don't think that you should be thinking that you're gonna pay your taxes at the end, like when the taxes
Yeah.
are
It can,
due.
it can
I
be
think you
it can be
should start
challenging.
paying them right away.
Yeah, and what I teach them is to set up an account so that 20 to 25% of their income is automatically deducted and set aside. So that way, when you get to the end, you're ready. But a lot of them, they're in survival mode and they haven't
Mm-hmm.
got to thrive mode yet. So they are, surviving and saying, "Look, I need all the dimes."
Mm-hmm.
But a
And
smart
they,
way of doing it is setting it aside.
yeah, because like you were saying, a lot of them they just spend the money, and then when the taxes are due, they're like, "Well, where do I get this big amount of money?" Well, you already got this big amount of money, you just spended it.
The thing about the tax system, it's made for entrepreneurs, right? It's made to support us. And you can't get taxed on money you didn't give, money you didn't make. So, my millionaire friends are always saying, well, you can't hate us to want to be us. So you have to understand how we operate. You pay no more than you do, but you do pay your taxes as a sign that you've actually received income.
Mm-hmm. So, so what kind of little business is it? Just small businesses mostly you interview?
So it's all businesses most of the time. Um, Last night I talked to a young lady that helps people with business operations. I've talked to a guy who created a appliance that goes on your brake and your gas pedals in your car to keep kids from stealing your car. I've talked to a guy who went to the Caribbean, to him and his wife on a vacation, and the little tour boat that they were in blew up and killed her, and he lost his leg. And so he's talking about resilience. And you don't think about when you vacation that something could go wrong, and if you're in the water, it's international water, so nobody's really at fault. So yeah, those things, the things that we
Oh
don't think
wow.
about. Yeah, yeah, those things that we don't think about. But I try to educate people, like the guy with the appliance for the car. A little girl got killed because she stole her parents' car. And it touched his heart so that he wanted to create something to stop children from stealing cars. And so he made this whole appliance that he's trying to work with, the auto industry to get it where customers can get it as a part when they purchase the cars so that the children can't steal the cars. It's just interesting people.
Yeah, that's really interesting invention too.
Yeah, it
So
is.
for the viewers, all the like always, all the links for Linda's uh podcast and LinkedIn are all in the description. So go click on there and look up those stories and inventions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some very interesting people. We talk about everything. So, as anything that businesses are doing, I love bringing on things that are unique. Or, I had a beekeeper to come on and talk about bees.
Mhm.
If the bees die, we die with them. So that whole story, learning how the bees are really helping us stay alive, the pollination
This
part.
way, you learn a lot of different topics too.
I do. And my clients, or my clientele, I don't really specialize in any industry. I love that I get to learn about various industries. Like I've had a food safety auditor. Like you never think about when you go in these restaurants, they have food safety auditors that keep us safe so that when we
Mm-hmm.
go in, the things that we buy don't kill us. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just things you don't think about in the everyday of just living life, right?
Mm-hmm. So right now, with the economy and everything, with the small businesses, what would you say is the best thing to do with marketing?
So to me, it's all about the more people. So there's a law called the law of probability. And what that says is the more people see you, the more customers you have. And most
Mm-hmm.
times, small businesses market only to their little zip codes, wherever they are in their city, and they keep really, really local. I'm trying to influence businesses to think, we have a whole nation here, and you have access to the whole nation. Whereas most people are struggling because they want their friends and families to support them. But when you realize that you don't have enough friends and you don't have enough family, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how big you are, there's not enough of them to support you continuously. So
Mm-hmm.
teaching people that the people who are going to support you and buy your products and services are outside of your zip code. So I'm teaching them to think global, act local, yes, do things locally. Like,
Mm-hmm.
give back to your community, go to your high school and show up for the kids there. Do all those local things, but when it comes to business, think globally. Who in another country could use your services or your products?
Mm-hmm. And you can do all this online. Just
Absolutely.
right now, it gets you so much like outside your clientele just to go so much bigger.
Absolutely. You have so many people in so many areas that don't know what you do, how you do. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
all about visibility, being visible, coming on podcasts like this, talking to people, being on panels in your neighborhood. Like, who do you need to talk to in order for you to go? And I think of it like a ripple, right? When you drop water into water, it makes a
Mm-hmm.
ripple. It starts locally and then it goes out as it expands out. That is a marketing strategy that businesses can use in order to get seen, get heard around the world.
Mm-hmm. And how about this one? If they not really outgoing like this,
Hmm.
so what can they do?
So you hear about no face videos, right? So
Oh,
that right, no face
actually,
videos.
like I have, but like tell to the viewers
Yeah.
what is it?
So what that is your product, your services. You're highlighting your product, your services, because some of us are introverts and we don't want,
Mm-hmm.
we're camera shy, but
Mm-hmm.
people get to know, like, and trust you when they get to actually see you do your thing. But for
Yes.
those of us who are introverts, who don't like to get known like that, who don't like to sit in front of a camera, you can highlight your products, your services, feature your customers, feature
Mm-hmm.
how solution your business is the solution for somebody else's problem, because most times they're trying to find the solution, and in trying to find that solution they'll find you.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I started up with just video without me as well. Like my very first video when I was just getting used to it.
Yeah,
It was a meditation video and didn't have my face on it because I was just
absolutely.
getting comfortable with it.
Absolutely. And after a while, you'll get the confidence. It's all about confidence, right? Because I always kick back to Beyonce. Everybody knows Beyonce, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Beyonce is the biggest introvert. She does not like people, like to be out like that. And that's why you don't learn a lot about her private life, because she keeps her private life private. But everybody knows Sasha Fierce. That's that person
Exactly.
on
I always
stage, right?
pointed out too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know that Sasha Fierce. That's who
Mm-hmm.
you meet when people say, "Do you know Beyonce?" Everybody, "Oh yeah, I know. She sings this, sings that." No, you met Sasha Fierce because she
Mm-hmm.
created a persona so that when she has to go get that money, she go gets the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to understand, to be in business, you can't last without the money. And
Mm-hmm.
she's created a whole brand. Like, she's got a beehive, right? She got a whole following. People follow her because they think they know her, and they actually know, like, and trust Sasha Fierce.
Mm-hmm. I actually, it's interesting you bring it up because I have used the same thing. Like
Absolutely.
I don't have a name for that person, but that's a person like occasionally, like when I'm in a situation that I don't know exactly what I want to be doing or something, and that's my Sasha Fierce thing. And
Absolutely.
and say like, okay, you take it over, you deal with it, and I just let it go, and it just
Hey,
like goes and says the right things and does the say right movements, context with the people, and all the things. It's so cool to watch, and then like moments later, that situation was so perfect.
exactly. I call mine Ida.
You call
she's,
yours Ida
she's Ida. Yes, ma'am. She will show up when she
with
needs to.
IDA.
IDA. That's Ida.
That's my
Yeah.
daughter's middle name.
Well, see, hey, we have something in common there.
Yeah, and that's my daughter's middle name, and that came from my grandma's sister name.
Okay. Well, see, my name is Linda, right? And so it's just the IDA out of my name. But she's a whole
Mhm.
different person when she needs
I
to be.
like that.
When she needs to be, she does show up.
Yeah, but it's important for the viewers if you try to do that. If you're introvert, try to have a second identity
Yeah, your
where
persona.
when you're in a different situations, let that different identity be stronger and more outgoing, and let it take over. Try a few times. How do you
Absolutely.
get yours? Do you tell her to go on, or how do you prepare for it to go on?
Well, it just happens. It's a switch on, switch off, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
within us, you have that person that protects you, that person that keeps you safe, and that person that allows you to be who you are. But then, like when people push the buttons or extreme situations, right? You have to go somewhere else, and so that's
Mm-hmm.
when she shows up. But she
Mm-hmm.
shows up.
Oh,
She's Sasha Fierce.
okay. Yours shows up like I actually like. It's usually there anyways. I think that's my main character anyways. But
Okay.
sometimes, and it's funny. Sometimes I send her to wash dishes.
Absolutely. It's that person that you don't, it's that part of you. It's you, but it's that part of you that does the things that you either don't want to do or you don't like to do.
Or like not
Yeah.
comfortable, yeah. But
Yeah. It
sometimes
makes you
I was like,
uncomfortable. Absolutely.
oh, like before going to sleep, I was just like, I only want to go to sleep. It's like, okay, I'll go do the dishes. Okay, go do it. That's
Absolutely.
funny.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
But that, hey, to thyself be true, right? Shakespeare. To thyself be true.
Hmm.
That's all we're doing. We're just being true to all of ourselves. So we have personalities and things that a person we can get. And this is not psychotic kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's just a part of you that you don't show often, that sometimes you forget you have. That
Hmm.
sometimes, like your body, you're designed as one whole package. So to be whatever it is you to be, and so
Hmm.
understanding and get comfortable with the fact that there's a part of you that will show up when it needs to, however it needs to.
Hmm. It's not like people might think, viewers might think that it's like you have a different person. It's not
No,
a
this is
different
not that.
person. You still understand it's yourself, but it's yourself in a different version of doing things that you might think that you're not comfortable, but you actually are.
Absolutely. You have to push yourself sometimes, right? And so, I have customers, oh, I know I need to send those emails. I know I need to do this, or I know I need to do that. And I just don't have the motivation to do it. Well, this person needs no motivation. They just do the things that need to get done.
Hmm.
And so having that part of you is great.
Well, that's actually a good topic for next as well. Let's talk about motivation. Because I
Okay.
think motivation is, I agree with the people saying don't wait for motivation, you start doing, and
Yeah,
then the motivations just starts getting bigger.
absolutely. So I think about the other side of done. And what that looks like is, what happens if I do this? Like, what is the other side of done? What is my reward for actually getting this task, this whatever it is I don't want to do? What is the joy of getting on the other side of it? And if that is strong enough, then my resistance to doing the activity, I get there. But when it's
Mhm.
not strong enough, then how do I motivate myself? And it's all about self motivation, right? So this is not
Mhm.
about, oh, because you go to a speech or a setting or a service and you're so inspired, and then you go home and you remain the same,
Mhm.
right? When you're in it, you're like, oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Mhm.
but then when you leave that place, well, that is motivation. But what I want people to think about, I like transformation better. I do public
Okay.
speaking. And so I like to transform them. So in the moment, I'm teaching them physically how to transform. I'm teaching them, giving them things they can do in order to move, in order to
Mhm.
motivate themselves, so that when they leave the event, then they actually have that change in their life, because it becomes a conscious effort to do something different, to be something different, to reach higher.
Mhm. Yeah, I like the transformation part of it as well, because when you're waiting and waiting, there's never reason for wait for anything unless you really, well, different when you have to, but for motivation and for a perfect moment, any of those things, they you don't wait for things. You
No,
start doing right away. Like
absolutely.
even if it's just a small thing that you can do, you like take the pen. Like you have to write something. You take the pen. You have to write the email. You open your email account. And like you might not know what you're gonna write yet, but now it's open, now it's in front of you, and you're gonna words just gonna come out.
Absolutely. And I did that. So I am an author of a book, The Well Ran Dry, Memoirs of a Motherless Child. And people always say, "Oh, can you help me with my book?" Okay. It took me 7 years. That is
Mm-hmm.
7 years of collective thinking about my childhood and how I grew up and what happened in my childhood. And I tell them, just open a Word document and just do a brain dump and just think about everything that you know about that topic. Don't worry about the arrangement. Don't worry about,
Mm-hmm.
the timing, the timeline and all of that, but just write everything. And as you write, you'll start moving. And I asked them to do it in Word because you can move it around, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
replace it and format it and edit it later, but just get it out of you. And that whole getting it out of you thing, that really is therapeutic. It helps you to move on. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So understand how to do that.
Mm-hmm. And one thing for people to tell, for the viewers, I'm telling, uh, don't think that you have to do it all.
No.
Like I'm telling you right now about the writing book, you brought it up, like worrying about the words and letters and grammar. That's not like I wrote my book, and
Hmm.
I'm not even good in grammar and other things, because that's what editors are for.
Exactly.
My
Exactly.
editor is my best friend in my book.
Exactly. But that's it. You don't have it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be perfect. Here's the thing, and it was the CEO at Facebook. I think her name is Cheryl, and I forget her last name. I think it's Stromberg, but I'm not sure. But it's an S. But what she said is done is better than perfect.
Mhm. Oh my
Good.
God, Tinta, we're using so many same things. Like we use the Sasha first is done is better than perfect. We're using all the same things. That's cool.
Absolutely, because it worked. And that's what
Mhm.
I ask, I
Exactly.
instruct business owners, follow success. Like there's somebody successful doing whatever it is. There's nothing new under the sun. And so follow what success has left you, because success leaves clues. Success leaves
Mhm.
clues. So just follow the clues. Who do you know is already doing it and doing it well? Follow them.
Mhm.
You'll pick up a
Let's
lot of things.
explain. Let's explain people more about that. Done is better than perfect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because here's the thing, a lot of times we want to be the perfect platform. I got to have the perfect camera. I got to have the perfect lighting. I got to have the perfect this and the perfect that. No, you just need to start. You just need to
Mhm.
start, because once you start, all those things that you think are perfect needed, they'll come. They'll come in time.
Most of them you're not gonna need.
Yeah, but sitting on your idea, sitting on that book, sitting on that business, sitting on that going back to school, sitting on that personal development, sitting on that new career, sitting on all those things mean they will never get done. So you will never know how awesome you truly are, just sitting and waiting things out, waiting for perfection. I truly believe that perfection is an illusion, and it only works in the makeup business, right? Like there's no perfection. Like once you get past, there's no perfection. And when you look at viral videos and you look at viral incidents, none of them are perfect. It's just people doing what they do, and somebody with a camera shows it, and then next thing you know, an unknown person got found, got seen. One of my mentors starting out with Steve Harvey. I was in his School of
Mm-hmm.
Business Acceleration. And what I learned about Steve is Steve does eight, at that time, he had 8 different contracts he was working with, doing one thing, telling jokes. Like he is a
Mm-hmm.
jokester. I've seen him do his craft. He's studied for his craft. It's a whole thing. Like he can tell you before he makes you respond, how you going to respond because he's just that good, right? And I've sat in audiences where he did his thing, but he talks about learn to do one thing well, learn to do that one thing well, and then learn various ways of doing it. Lisa Nichols was his life coach at the time, and so she became our coach too. And Lisa can show you how to monetize one idea like 20 different ways. Like it's understanding that you don't have to do all the things that's in your head. You just need to find the one that is the least resistance, that gets you to the money the fastest, and do that one thing and perfect that one thing and move and do it. Because once you are in it and doing it and making the money that you never thought you'd make, talking to people you've never thought you would never ever get to talk to. I teach GED math to people who are going back to school because they want to graduate with their granddaughter. They didn't finish school and it's always been on their mind. All these things that make people come back and take their GEDs. And I teach them that you don't have to be perfect, but you showed up. Like show up. That's the biggest part. The biggest part is just showing up.
Mm-hmm. Doing that first step, that's the most important.
That's it. Showing up, being present. Go for it. Because once you do it, you're on the other side of getting it done. Like you're actually saying, I have a math student, and he said, Miss Linda, I never thought I'd be smart enough to understand quadratic equations. But he does. And he was like, wow. He gets impressed with him, says he's like, go, guy. Like you have to be your own motivation, though.
Yeah, I like that's I like about the motivation. When you actually get that first thing done, that's where your motivation comes. Like, oh,
It
I got
does.
this little check mark.
It
And
does.
that's why it's important to, like, when you have some kind of big ideas, put little steps.
Little
Because when you
stuff.
start checking them off, then it's like, oh, I got this done, I got that done. And like
Exactly.
after a while, you get all this motivation comes from getting those little things
Getting it
done.
done. It does.
And then next thing, the big thing's done.
Absolutely. I have Becca makes buttons is one of my friends, and Becca talks about she does when she goes out. She's over in Oregon. When she goes out, she teach people how to make buttons. And this lady, 76 years old, had never made anything in her life. She said, I'm not creative. I've never done anything. And Becca worked with her to create a button. She looked at the button and said, if I can do this, I wonder what else it is I can do. 76 years old. You're never too old. You're never too old to start.
Oh,
Never too
no.
old.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're 15 or if you're 50 or if you learn about Colonel Sanders, who became popular in his 60s making the chicken. He was in his 60s. You're never too old.
And I also say you're never too, like, right now it came to my mind, no, you're never too young either.
No.
You know? You're never too young, you're never too old. Whenever the idea comes to you, that's when you have to take the action.
Absolutely. I have a niece that was 7 years old. People couldn't even see her over the little mic stand, and she was singing like a songbird. But she would stand up and she would sing. She loved to sing that Michael Jackson song. She could stand on that stage and they were like, where is that big old voice coming from? She's a little bitty thing, 7 years old. You just have to do it. You have to show up for you.
Exactly. The way I see it as well, like I'm 42 right now, and I'm thinking for me to live I want to live like 100, but like for me to live to 80, which I see other people like completely healthy, 80 years old going around, I have to relive my whole life.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Another 40 years. That's from when I was born to now.
Absolutely.
All those times. So I have so much time to do so many more things.
And this time you get to do it with knowledge, with all the knowledge you've acquired. So all the mistakes you made and the choices that you made that were not reflective of who you are, you get to change those and do something different with them, right? And so you get to actually create the life that you want to live. Like I love that I don't have to go on vacation. I'm still happy in my life. Like I'd be just as happy at home as I am on vacation. I mean, I love traveling, but I can be at home and be just as happy. You have to create the life that you want to live.
Mm-hmm. And it's perfect to do it like in the middle of your life. And
Absolutely.
it's also perfect to change what you've been doing in the first part or second part or third
Absolutely.
part or fourth part, like however many parts in your life you want to have, you know?
Absolutely. Because I teach about the power of choice. And that's what my book is about, right? The power of choice is every day you have the power in your hand to say yes or to say no. And no is a full sentence, right? It's no and then period. It's a full sentence. You don't need to explain, defend, deny, or anything. Once you say no, it's just a no. Let your no's be no and let your yeses be yes. And so we think that we have to be apologetic for who we show up to be. No, unapologetically stand up and be who you were designed to be, whoever that
Mm-hmm.
is. Doing what those things you were put on earth to do, to make lives better for other people, because people need your products, they need your services, they need to see you. They need
Mm-hmm.
whatever you have in your head that's an idea that's going to be the answer to some problem, whatever solution that you are, it never gets done if you don't show up to do it.
Mm-hmm. Because from all the things that I do, one thing that I do, I'm also a happiness expert. I have
Uh-huh.
I've done a lot of things, and I always say that's actually one of the things that I say. I'm unapologetically happy. A lot of
Absolutely.
people
Absolutely.
feel guilty, or they say like, "Oh, you need a reason to be happy," or "Why are you so happy?" And I was like, I don't have to explain that to anybody. I'm
You don't have to explain.
unapologetically happy.
Absolutely, and that's okay. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. No, many people don't know about me, but on September the 21st of 2021, I caught COVID real bad. Like
Okay.
I drove myself to the emergency room, and when I got there, they said within seconds of minutes of getting there, I flatlined. So they put me on the ventilator and put me in a coma for 15 days. When I
Oh
woke
wow.
up, nothing below my neck worked. Nothing. Like you have over 600 muscles in your body and none of those muscles worked. And so I had to learn how to retrain them and wake them up again. And so every day I am grateful to be here because every day I could have died right then, right there. And if you've been that
Hmm.
close to death and had a near death experience, you learn that no, you don't really need much to be happy to be here
Hmm.
because this is a different day. I get to meet all these fabulous people like yourself, and I am glad to be alive.
Hmm.
But it's
That
self
actually
motivating.
brings me a interesting question as well, because I'm really curious person in nature.
Uh huh.
I just want to know everything. So, what does it like when you came out of that coma? What does it feel like? How nobody can imagine. How does it feel, and how does it feel when you actually be able to move something, some of your body parts again? Like,
Yeah.
were you thinking about it moving, and then it moved, and
It's work, and God bless everybody that sought after me. I had the best care, but the physical therapist would come in and help me move my leg. I couldn't stand up. I mean, I could do nothing. All I could do was
Mhm.
lay there, and so they pretty much took care of me. Like they did
So they
everything for me.
have to move you.
They had to move me at first
They
and
have
show
to
me how
move
to
you.
move. Right. At first, they had to work my legs or show me how to work my legs. Like come in and bend my leg backing up, and wait, re-rake and teaching me how to swallow. I couldn't swallow. Like all you have muscles in your throat that
Mhm.
a lot of the muscles are involuntary, meaning you don't have to do anything. They just
Mhm.
do what they do for you. You don't
Mhm.
know they're there until they're not working. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute. Like just simply raising my hand. I couldn't raise my hand. Like
Mhm.
everything was shutting down because I had just laid there for 15
Mhm.
days. But then being with therapists and them teaching me how to walk again, teaching me how to lift my leg, teaching me how to, do all the things. I had to learn all that all over again. So you talk about reliving your life. Like I
Mhm.
had to basically go from infant stage to get back up out of the bed and start being able to do for myself because I couldn't do
Mhm.
that when I woke up.
Do you remember that first moment when you were able to think or do like you without that the nurse? to do something by yourself. Do you remember what was the first thing that you were able to move again?
Yeah. So the first thing I was able to move again was my arms, right? To get medicine, to get this. She would hold things and say, "Can you get this?" So that was the first thing, is to moving my arms and my legs. Also, they were teaching me how to swallow again because I kept aspirating. Like, I didn't know how to swallow. So
Mm-hmm.
they would thicken my water. I couldn't have water, but they would thicken my drinks with this thing that would make it thicker, and it would come down so that my whatever, this little piece in my throat would catch it and it wouldn't go in my lungs, like those things. But I was determined. I have 3 sons, and I was
Mm-hmm.
determined. I said, Father, when I go home, let my sons not have to take care of me. Like, let me be where they didn't have to shower me, where they didn't have to walk for me. So I came home on a walker.
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest son moved in just about, and they helped me like do the exercise. And he didn't have to shower. My goddaughter came over and she was the shower, and I said, I think I can handle it. And so she would walk me with me to the bathroom, but then I would get in the shower by myself. Like, and I had a shower stool that had to
Mm-hmm.
be in there with me. Like, learning how I am so headstrong and want to do my things my way. And so those are the things I was like, when I was in the hospital, I was in diapers. And I said, Father, don't let
Mm-hmm.
me go home like that, because I have boys and I'm their mother. And I want the whole, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to keep my dignity, but I also didn't want to put them in that state. And so me actually doing the things that the doctors and nurses told me to do, my therapist following all the things they wanted to do. But when I came home at the end of those 25 days, I was walking. I was walking on a walker, but I was walking. And then within weeks, I was off the walker. And they
Mm-hmm.
had put me on oxygen because my lungs really got hit really bad. And so I had to come home in oxygen. But I made a determination that I would not be on oxygen the rest of my life. And I decided one day, I don't need oxygen. I'm gonna learn how to use these breathing techniques, and I'll get off oxygen. And I didn't know that I could just stop doing it. And they were like, no, 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 the doctor needs to take you off. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to, but they had taught me how to breathe, and the different exercises to keep me going. Like, I was so determined to get back because I knew that wasn't the end of my life. Like, God
Mm-hmm.
told me that I had a mission, that I had things to do. I had to tell people about what happened to me and tell them to start working on their dreams and their visions. And then I'm to support them. So the Business Plugs Mixer supports people from all over the world. Like, I've had people come on from Korea. I've had people come on from the UK. Like, they're all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I want to, before we start closing down, I want to bring out the last topic for us, determination.
Mm-hmm.
I
Absolutely.
think that's the best thing in a life, and that's so powerful, and that gets through everything inside.
Absolutely. You have no idea how strong you are until you have to be strong for yourself. Like, when you are determined, you need to have goals. You need to say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do these things. For me to stand up and to get out of that hospital bed and start sitting in
Mm-hmm.
chairs, once this guy, he said, Miss Linda, we're going to dance. And once he got me out of the bed, my whole entire condition turned around. He said, because if I can get you up and get you to moving, you're gonna get where you need to be, Miss Linda. And so he would hold me and we would dance to the chair because I couldn't walk. And so he would pretty much just hold me and we would rock to the chair, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that changed everything. That changed everything because I was really not doing well. I was not in a good place. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know how bad I was until I actually started getting up and thinking, okay, I can do that. And I was sitting in that chair for 8 hours because I said, this is not going to be my life. I will not be laying in bed, determined to get back on my feet. Determined is how you're going to get to your next thing. You have to know that it's within you to be all that you were designed to be. And
Mm-hmm.
your determination is going to get you there.
Mm-hmm. And I want to point people out in a second, and I'm going to ask you about it. You had, with all the determination that you had, I'm sure you had those few moments when it went away and you felt sad as well.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, because we all have those moments when, like, doesn't matter how much motivation, determination we have, and we don't want them, but they just come.
They
They
do
just
come.
come from, like, wherever they come from. They come, and you have those moments like, oh, like maybe this is easier, or maybe I should not be doing this. And then you had those moments too, right?
Absolutely. Oh, there were crying days when I would just think about everything I had been through. And I can still have those today.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was in 21, we're in
Mm-hmm.
24, and I still have moments where I well
Yes.
up because of all the things I had to go through, right? And and
Mm-hmm.
and when you get by yourself, isolation, being by yourself will cause you to go there. So it's important that you have community. It's important that
Mm-hmm.
you have friends you can talk to, or family. It's important that you have other people. We were not meant to be isolated. And
Mm-hmm.
so in your isolation, your mind wanders, right? And so you
Mm-hmm.
have to think about when you're by yourself, because some people suffer with depression. And that was one of the diagnoses that my grandmother had, like
Mm-hmm.
a whole other generation from me. And so knowing what it is and being able to say, okay, this is depression. This is what it feels like. I grieve what I went through. And
Mm-hmm.
so because I did, it happened to me. I turned that thinking around and think, no, it happened for me. Because had
Mm-hmm.
I not went through whatever I went through, I would not be able today to tell you how great it feels to be on the other side of that. When people get into situations in their mind and they think about, oh man, woe is me, something is happening to me. I want you to rephrase that. No, this is happening for me, because on the other side of this, I'm going to show somebody else how to get through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So pretty much any situation
Any
in your
situation.
life, you have the determination to get through it. And when you have those little setbacks, let them, don't push them away. Let them come. Let them go through your body, and then they will go away. Don't try to
Absolutely.
hold them one way or another way.
No.
Let them pass.
Right, right. Let them, we have to learn how to feel, like
Mm-hmm.
the whole human experience. So whatever those things are, those bad days, because everything is not going to be apples and cream and rainbows and
Yeah.
sunshine and unicorns every day, right? That's not
Mm-hmm.
every day. That's not realistic. Realistically, we're going to have woes. We're going to have ebbs and flows. We're going to have days when we're really, really high, and things are working out, and the magic is making magic. Then we're going to have days that are, those days. Well,
Mm-hmm.
feel those days too, because they're just as important, but call them what they have. They have no power over you. You have the power, the determination, and the motivation to move from that. I allow myself 24 hours. Ty Tribbett has this song said, "For only one night," though. He talks about how things are going to happen to you, but let it be. If you're going to be sad for
Mm-hmm.
one night. If you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be down for one night, because in the morning, joy comes
Mm-hmm.
and things change. And so, whatever state that you're in, just know that it's temporary. Like if you can
Mm-hmm.
see that it's temporary and nothing lasts forever. Can I say nothing? Nothing lasts forever. So
Mm-hmm.
if nothing lasts forever, even bad things don't last
Mm-hmm.
forever. You have to be able to see the other side of what's happening and understand that you're going to smile again. You're going to be happy again. Like your life is going to change again. You're just living life, and lives. It does for us
Mm-hmm.
all. It's the
Yeah.
same for everybody, no
And
matter
that's
how much
why
you have.
And that's why that what I teach as a happiness expert the same way. Just because you feel sad or fearful or angry at moments, that has nothing to do with your happiness. Those are your
No,
other emotions that you need to be feeling too. So feel those emotions, then come back to the happiness, exchange them when they need it. That's all it is you being a human.
you're
There's
human.
nothing wrong with you. You're just
Absolutely.
human, and humans feel different emotions in different situations.
And that just means that you have a range of emotions, and you just have to call them what they are. This is what it feels like to live.
Mm-hmm. Only thing what I always say as well, like with those negative emotions, you're not allowed to take them off on other people.
No, no.
You're allowed
Isolate.
to
That's
feel
when you need
yourself and process it, but you're not allowed to take it off on other people. You can
absolutely.
help for them support, and sometimes when it does happen that you lash out on somebody or do something wrong, you calm down, after you realize, you go and apologize, or you make it better whatever you did, but you're not allowed to just leave it. Like if
No.
you
And,
were
and you have
angry
to,
and you did something wrong for somebody, you're not allowed to just leave it like that. You have to go and fix what you did.
Absolutely. And the thing about it, you think about your words like toothpaste, right? Once it's
Mm-hmm.
out of the tube, it's kind of hard to put it back. So words have power. And when you say mean and evil things to people, you can't redo that. Like you don't get a do-over. Oh, I'm sorry does not cut it, because those words cut like a knife. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you cut somebody, you think about a bottle. If you have a bottle and you a glass bottle and you drop it on a concrete floor, it shatters. You can't put that back together. Saying I'm sorry to that bottle never makes that bottle back
Mm-hmm.
whole. You have to think about your words. Your words have power. And when you say mean and evil things to people, even out of anger, even out of
Mm-hmm.
frustration, even out of emotion, period, you can't undo that. So
Mm-hmm.
think very carefully how you speak to other people when you are in those moods where you don't want to be bothered. Then excuse yourself. You're
Mm-hmm.
grown. Say, excuse me, I need to move around. I'm not in a good space right now. Let's come back and talk to this when I can get it together for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
ask for permission, excuse yourself. But just
Mm-hmm.
don't hurt people with your words, because words hurt. They do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, knowing this, we love the people we love, our loved ones, they love us. Anytime somebody's trying to correct us, they're trying to correct us out of love. If they loved us on our good days, they'll definitely love us on our bad ones. So, do not take your words out of context and hurt people. Like, even when you're angry, even when you're depressed, even when you're upset, just understand you're feeling that emotion. They're not. And so, for
Mm-hmm.
those reasons, make sure that you're cognizant, that you're aware of how your words can influence other people.
Yeah, and you have to process them by your with yourself or with somebody's help.
Absolutely.
You're
Get help if you
you're
need.
not ask the same person to help you get through the feeling instead of
Absolutely.
lashing out or doing something. So
Absolutely.
okay, there were so many interesting topics, and we're just getting all excited about everything. Uh, how are we gonna, Linda? How do you want to close it up? What do you want to say for closing? And then I have one last question.
Absolutely. So, closing out, you find me in all the different places, but understand whether you find me or find someone else, you can do all the magnificent things that you were designed to do, that you were built to do. You know what those things are because you feel them in your heart and soul. And it's time to get those things done. It's time to start. The hardest part is just getting started. Getting started and continually show up for yourself. And you'll be amazed of how your life will look a year from now.
Mm-hmm. And for the viewers, go in the description and go click the links to contact Linda. Go watch her podcast, listen to her podcast, sign up for all the information, and investigate deeper. So, Linda, well, all the questions that I have, I ask also at the end the question, what makes you happy? Not what happiness is, not what other people think happiness is supposed to be. What makes you happy?
What makes me truly happy, and I'm addicted to it, is seeing people reach their uncultivated potential. I love to see that light that comes on when somebody gets it and they see themselves in a whole new light, and their confidence is increased, and they're able to go into the world and conquer it the way that only they can.
Mm-hmm. But that's for the business side as well. But for your own personal now, like a little bit more, like let's I'm gonna deep little, I like that one too. That's perfect. That's really
Yeah.
important. But I want to dig into yourself, like what
Oh,
is
tell me.
in your daily life, like something like three small things.
I love to learn new things. I love to meet new people, and I love to experience other people's cultures. Like I'm
Oh.
a nerd. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
nerd, so I really really love meeting new people and learning about their stories. Like my life, I'm just inquisitive, and I like you, so I get it when you ask questions and things. I get it because I love learning about other people and what their backstories are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I think you got a lot of motivation and interesting topics. If you have some idea or goal, just do the first step.
Take the first
and
step.
motivation and everything comes around. Take all the tips that you got. When you clicked on this video, it was probably for the reason. So you got the message here for you, just for you. Thank you, Linda. Thank
Thank
you,
you for having me
everybody
out.
who watching. Bye.
Bye.